A very good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to another episode of the Life Signatures Radio. This is episode number 1685. Thank you so very much for staying tuned from across the globe. We are in the middle of a series. We're talking about work. These episodes, we are always going to talk about purpose, productivity, and resilience. And you will know that work is one of the biggest blessings that God has bequeathed us. I mean, if you remove the work from the psyche of the human or the ecosystem of the human, the world comes to a standstill, the world disintegrates. There is no food to eat, there is basically nothing. We were created to be productive. That's the main reason for our creation. Someone will say, I was created to worship God and all that stuff. You keep worshiping God. God said if a man does not work, he should not eat. You keep worshiping God in hunger. You know what I'm saying? We were created primarily to be fruitful, to multiply, to be productive. And we find fulfillment. We find a lot of, standard balance, psychic fulfillment. I know that people might just switch off from there, but we find a lot of fulfillment from work. If you are not working, you don't know how fulfilled you could be. In fact, you could be stressed if you're not working, even though you have your bills paid. I kid you not. All right, so let us delve deeper today and stay tuned.
Welcome to the Life Signatures podcast with Lawrence Namale. Lawrence is a life coach, author, and keynote speaker who loves to tackle different topics on purpose, productivity, and resilience. His mission in life is to awaken all your boundless possibilities available in you. Life Signatures podcast is dedicated to bring to reality every single person who knows that deep down in their gut, there's got to be more to life than this. And now, here is your host, Lawrence Namale.
So in a recap, you understand that we have been going through the different facets of work that we need to understand. It is impossible to divorce the human from work. It's actually impossible. The very identity, our own identity as humans, is constituent and consistent with what we do, how we do to make things happen, what we do to make things happen. That's why, by the way, if you meet someone in the street and say, hey, what's up? What's going on? Their mind will directly go to work. Maybe a job that they don't have, or a job that they are doing, and so on, or their job title, whatever it is. Our psyche is just permeated with work. In fact, if you ever found a human who did nothing, you will be easily led to look down on them. You just, even if, by the way, and I know you guys, you do this a lot. You see, you met someone who you don't know what they do, but they are wealthy. What happens? You start judging them. They don't work, maybe they sell drugs, things like that. So I know I have spoken about the identity of work elsewhere, that our identity is not necessarily on what we do, but on who we are. But who we are dictates what we do. That is what we call life's work. However, if you just say your identity is defined by who you are, it's not complete. It is who you are that strongly leads to what you do. In other words, there's gotta be some balance in the definition of the human. First, the human is a being That means who you are. That's the identity. That's the meaning. That's the purpose. And it's from there that you get the strength to do what you can do in terms of your productivity and your work. So we've been talking about the different facets of work. The facet number one, we say that there's going to be creation. Work is exemplified through creation. Please go back and just check it out. Secondly, we've said that work is exemplified through growth and increase. And thirdly, we say that work is exemplified through going global. We just completed 2 episodes yesterday where we mentioned that. Today, I want to look at a different facet. And I want to say this, that work, number 4, is exemplified through ruling. Ruling. Some of you, you're clamoring so much for power. Let me tell you how much power there is in work. There is a lot of power. Ruling. First of all, you rule over yourself when you're working. Any domain where you are working, it's your domain for rulership. It's your domain for dominion. So if you've just qualified yourself from the facet of work because if you've disqualified yourself from the facet of work because you're not a ruler, then I am here to tell you that you are getting the memo all wrong. You got it all wrong. First off, by the virtue of you being a human being, you are automatically a ruler. All humans. That's my belief. That's my theory. And that's actually my strong belief. All rulers. All humans are rulers. And a ruler is simply someone who is in charge. That's it. That's it. Someone who is in charge. To err, we do when we think that all humans are not rulers. And at best, few humans exercise authority, exercise rulership over a multitude of others. One of the things that we must settle in our spirit's family is this. We are all rulers for as long as we are humans. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is exemplified through our work. To rule is to work. And the problem we have globally is human beings stripping themselves of being in charge and ceding their authority to another human. As long as you are working, I don't care how many bosses are above you, but you are in charge right there. You are in charge. The only place where, and by the way, even technically, if you are a slave, and I know this might be taken the very wrong way, but technically speaking, actually spiritually speaking, when I am doing something, I am in charge. The one who is a slave driver is not necessarily in charge. He is not working. He is not in charge. He will find out on his deathbed how much in charge he wasn't. I tell you, in the human psyche, he wasn't in charge. He will find out. He will be the most disgruntled, distressed, dissatisfied human being ever, that slave driver. He will find out that his rulership wasn't supposed to be about driving other humans to work. His rulership as a human was supposed to work himself. Find his life's work and work. I tell you, I have this feeling, this creepy feeling that if you went to the deathbeds in the spiritual realms, actually, if you visited all the people who were dying or who died at the point in time that they were dying and they were slave drivers, they were the most useless to themselves at that moment in time. Work gives you rulership. I don't care how many bosses are above you. You, as long as you are working, as long as you're moving from point A to point B, as long as you're moving things, you are in charge. And you need to, what do you need to do? You need to celebrate that part. That you are ruling through your work. It is very revolutionary, a thought, by the way, that as long as I am ruling, as long as I am working, I am ruling. The problem we have globally is human beings just ceding their own rulership to others. You think that by electing a particular president, that's why it's a sick thing. Maybe I'm going to do a series on democracy, how it's a fallacy the world over. It's a fallacy. This thing called democracy, it's a fallacy. It's a whitewashed tomb. And through democracy, we feel like if we elect the right person, then food will be on our table. Let me tell you, we are ceding our rulership to somebody else, and it never works. That's why you think 5 years down the line, in America, 4 years down the line, we're going to vote in Trump, we're going to vote in Biden, and you think your success and your salvation is in Biden. No, it is in your work. Because when you work, you are ruling. You're ruling when you're working. And I'm not saying that you should not vote and all that. I'm just telling you this thing, this so-called democracy, is a whitewashed tomb. It's a form of rulership. It's a form of organizing society. But it is not foolproof like you think. It is not 100% pure. I'll give it, let's say, 30, 20, 24% right there. It is full of dead bones, full of innuendos, full of backbiting and backstabbing, full of lies and threats and actual assassinations. And what people are doing is ceding their work to democracy, that I'm going to vote and things are going to go right. No, forget it, brother and sister. You voted in George Bush, what happened? You voted in Donald Trump, what happened? You voted in Joe Biden, what happened? Every human as an individual has an authority that comes to them when they work. They are ruling. They are in charge. Every place where you're working, take it as if you are ruling through your work. I am ruling through my work. And the way I'm going to be productive, that is how I expand my rulership and my authority as I keep going. Let me say this. If the human being really was in charge as he was intended to be, going back to the beginning, then there will be really no need for governance. There will really be no need for this democracy. There will be really no need for dictatorships. If every individual human just ruled the way they were intended. That's why I keep saying democracy is for people who are seriously godly, pure actually, righteous. And then they are naturally righteous, they are seriously knowledgeable, they are mature. But the masses are not pure. The masses, even the own people, the people who are vying for presidency and so on, they are not pure. They are not righteous. They are wicked. Anyway, if all humans as individuals, they did what they were intended to do and ruled through their work, there will be no need for governance. One of the greatest aches that we collectively have as human beings is the ache of leadership. Why? Because we are all inherently made to be in charge. We were all inherently made to rule. Governments then are in place in order to rule over men and women who preside over the law and order. That's it. Governments are in place in order to rule over men and women and preside over law and order. But really, there is no need for governments where the human is being fully, holy, glorious, ruling over themselves and through their work. You can take that to the bank. You know this. But we're going to continue talking about this even as we finish that portion or these portions in the episodes that are coming up. But until then, bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Life Signatures Radio. If you enjoyed today's show, subscribe to Life Signatures Radio on iTunes, Stitcher, or visit our website at lifesignatures.libsyn.com. Life Signatures Radio, fresh, clean, and inspiring.